Mm. Mm.
You may think these images are from the movie Avatar, or
Okay,
perhaps
make
some
it.
other distant Earth-like planet. It's hard to believe these places
I
exist
got
on our
this
own planet.
donkey.
Here are 15 unbelievable places that actually exist.
15
Number
unbelievable
15,
places that
underwater
actually
waterfall,
exist. An
Mauritius.
underwater waterfall.
Mauritius is known for its idyllic beaches and crystal clear sea, but there's
Damn.
an unbelievable phenomenon at the southwest corner of the island that appears to be an
I ain't gonna lie,
underwater
this shit look
waterfall.
beautiful as hell.
Despite
Look
how
at
it
how
looks, this
tropical
isn't
that shit
actually a
look.
flowing region of water,
I
but
need to get my
instead an
money up
optical
and
illusion
get
that happens
my
because of
damn
the seafloor
passport.
structure. The island sits on an ocean shelf which is no more than 500 feet deep. At the edge of the shelf, however,
Is
it
you
soon plunges
serious? That's
down to
real?
depths of almost 2.5 miles. And
It
what you're
ain't no
actually
way
seeing
that
in the
shit
underwater
real.
waterfall is not water falling down into the abyss, but particles of sand that are being pushed over by the current.
What?
Number 14, Glowworm Cave, New Zealand.
What?
New Zealand is one of the most scenic countries in the world, but beyond the peaks of the
Damn.
mountain ranges, the deep valleys, and the glaciers are a series
See,
of
you only
caves
see
that
shit
seem to
like
have
this
come
in
straight
movies
from a
for
fairy
real.
tale.
Like,
The reason for this is because they're home
but
to
that's how you
glowworms,
know when they
which
be
are the
putting in movies,
larval
that should
forms
be
of a species
real.
of fungus gnat that are endemic to the
Look
country.
at that shit.
Known locally as titiwai, which means projected over water, the
Like, that
bioluminescence
shit
that's
look raw
produced
as
in the
hell. I go to
insect's
sleep in a
abdomens is
cave
designed
like
to
that.
attract prey, and happens as a result of a chemical reaction between a luciferase enzyme and a molecule of
Oh, never
luciferin.
mind. They
It creates one of the
mention
most stunning
chemicals and
sights that
shit.
you can see in the natural world. It makes for a magical boat ride through the cavern.
See, bruh?
Thousands of the glowworms are active.
Man,
Number 13, Tianxi Mountains, China. China, Tianxi's mountains in the Hunan province are some of the most unusual mountain formations in the world. Covering an
y'all can
area
see
of
me
around
good?
17,000 acres, they're
Let me
made
see.
from quartz sandstone and
Yeah,
first
y'all can
began
see
to
me
emerge from the
straight.
earth about 400 million years ago. The subsequent erosion of the rock has created these skinny mountains, which reach
I'm
a
not gonna
peak
lie, I
of
seen that
3,976 feet and are named after the
on
legend
some.
of a farmer who led a revolt against an oppressive regime who called himself the Son of Heaven. When the
What? You
mountains are
could
covered
do
in
this
mist, there's
shit?
something mystical about them. And it's no surprise they were the inspiration for
I'm not gonna
mountainscapes
lie.
in movies like Avatar, and are one of the
Yeah.
most popular tourist destinations in the region.
I was just gonna say, like, that
Number
should look
12,
familiar as hell.
Grand Prismatic Spring, Wyoming,
Oh, this
USA.
probably one of them hot
The
springs.
stunningly colorful Grand Prismatic Spring
That
is in
shit hot
Yellowstone
as
National
fuck,
Park
probably.
and is the largest hot spring in the U.S. It's bigger than a football
Can
field
you
at about
swim in a hot
370
spring?
feet
I
wide,
doubt it.
and with a depth of at least 160 feet, you could
That
fit
bitch
a
probably burn
10-story
the
building
fucking
inside it.
skin off your
The
ass
spring is
cheek.
fed through a crack in its floor, through which as much as 560 gallons of water is released into it every minute.
I know this is a off topic question, but as a nigga, is it? Never mind, I ain't even gonna. Do y'all got hair between y'all ass cheeks? I just want to put that out there.
Its normal temperature is
Put it in the
160
comments.
degrees Fahrenheit, and it's because of this that it's surrounded by such vibrant rings. The color is created by the presence of microbes that live in hot environments, and depending on the time of year, you'll see reds, oranges, yellows, greens, and blues.
Damn. I wonder if you drink that,
Number
how
11,
that shit will
Monte Roraima,
get you.
Venezuela. We're so used to seeing natural formations that have irregular shapes that it seems almost impossible for something to have a rigid design to it.
Rigid
Monte
design.
Roraima, Venezuela isn't your ordinary mountain though, and its 12 square mile summit is surrounded by 1,300 foot tall cliffs, almost in a square shape. It's actually on a tri-point border between Venezuela, Guyana, and Brazil, and has long been part of local beliefs. The Pemon and Capon people believe it to be the stump of a giant tree that once bore all the fruits and vegetables in the world, and the seemingly unscalable cliffs have inspired a number of stories,
Gee,
including
what
The
if
Lost
that
World by Sir
is
Arthur Conan Doyle
true?
and Paradise Falls from the movie
What if
Up.
that was just a big
Number 10,
ass tree
Lake
stump?
Ritba, Senegal. On the northwest coast of Africa, about 18 miles northeast of the Senegalese capital, Dakar, is a lake like anything you'll find elsewhere in the world.
The
Called Lake
fuck? How
Ritba,
many
it
niggas
has
they
an
killing that
extremely high
bitch?
salt content, and this provides ideal conditions for Dunalayela Salina
Why
algae
they
to
put my
thrive,
two black?
which are bright red colored and make the water appear to be pink. This
Nah, that
unusual
shit
hue is
raw.
far
I
more
wouldn't get in
prominent
that
during
shit
the
though.
region's dry season
I'm
between
lying.
November
Yeah, I
and
would.
June, and the effect is
I
accentuated by
damn
the
near do
magenta
anything.
bushes that grow around its
That's like on
shores.
some new shit.
The lake is an important economic center too, with thousands of people who rely on retrieving and selling the salt deposits, as well as fishing the waters. Catches here don't quite match up to what's possible in other lakes, however, because to survive in such salty water, the fish only grow to around 1/4 the size they would do elsewhere.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I wouldn't eat none out that bitch though. Fuck.
Number 9. Red Beach, Panjin, China. China is a country that's full of incredible geographic sites, but there's perhaps none as surprising as the Red Beach in Panjin.
That shit don't look that
It's
sexy
around
to
the
me.
mouth of the Panjin Shongchaisi River, where the soil is so alkaline that
I'm
very
cool
few
on that
species
place.
of
I ain't gonna
plant
lie.
can grow.
That kind
One
of
that
don't
does
look
particularly
bussin'
well is
to me.
the Sueda salsa, which has a deep
Probably
red
because I ain't
color,
seen
and
it
is why
in
the
person.
region looks
Yeah,
so
see,
remarkable.
look at that shit.
It
Now
was
that
once
shit
thought
look
that
nice.
Mars was red because it
That
was
bright
covered in
red.
crimson plants, and if that were true, the beach at Panjin is surely how it would have appeared. With so many plants growing on the shores, the Red Beach is the largest wetland area in the world, and together with the largest reed marsh in Asia, which is also there, the
I'm
whole
learning
region
a
is
lot of shit
protected
about the
area
world
of
right
natural
now.
interest.
God
It's
damn
home
it.
to more than 260 different species of birds and more than 400 species of other types of animals, including the rare red-crowned crane and black-mouthed gulls.
I wonder what them taste like, a red mouth
Before
crane.
we move on, be sure to subscribe to Top 5s with notifications on.
Type shit, free promo, free promo.
Number 8. The Crooked Forest, Poland.
Oh yeah.
Deep within a forest near the town of
What the
Grafino in
fuck?
Poland is a phenomenon that has confused researchers and visitors alike ever since it was first
Yo, you gotta
discovered.
understand, why don't people
Called
go to
the
these
Crooked
places and
Forest,
like build a
there are an
house or some
estimated
shit?
400 pine trees that have for some reason grown very differently to normal.
That's how
It's
you
thought that
know
they
there's
were
some shit in
planted
the
during
world that's
1930s
just
when the region
crazy,
was a part
bro.
of Germany. And
Why
after
they
emerging from the
trees
ground
growing like
usual,
this?
they bent towards the north for several feet before growing upwards again. It's not known why this has happened and why it's something that only these 400 trees have done. There's a couple of
Only
theories.
400 trees
The
did
first
that.
is that it's the result of human design, perhaps because of a tool that was used when they were first planted, or the alternative suggestion is that they were all subject to a freak weather event, such as a snowstorm while they were young in their development. No records exist to support either theory, however, so it's quite possible we'll never know for certain.
Yeah.
Number 7. Stone Forest, Madagascar.
Well, what the fuck? That's how Madagascar
is
look for
usually
real?
thought of as a place with an unparalleled amount of biodiversity.
Oh
But its
God.
geographical features are equally impressive. The Stone Forest,
thought Madagascar was
which is within the Singidebamaraha
bussin'.
National Park, began life hundreds of millions of years ago
That should
as a
look like
lagoon.
death.
Limestone deposits formed on the bed, and due to tectonic
I think Shopify has definitely helped.
Oh my
us
God,
to
you
really
dumbass
get
ad,
started.
stupid
Actually,
bitch.
My wife, she was the one that brought
activity were lifted above the water's surface. As the lagoon receded, more limestone was revealed, and it was worn away by the monsoon rains over the following millennia. This, combined with groundwater erosion that formed caves that subsequently collapsed, has left a series of towers with canyons between them, which has resulted in the largest such formation in the world. Its name means where one cannot walk barefoot.
Where
And
one
that's an apt
cannot
warning.
walk
These pillars,
barefoot.
some of which are up to 2,600 feet high, are sharp enough to easily cut through flesh or equipment. So
Yeah.
have to be traversed with
Facts.
the
You
utmost
fall
of
on one
care.
of them is over with. You turn it. That's a blender. Literally.
Number 6. Lake
Ooh,
Baikal,
that looks
Russia.
so sexy.
Lake
I'll
Baikal,
smoke
which
this
is in
blunt
southern
right there,
Siberia,
sitting on
is
that
the
little ice
largest known
glacier. Oh my
freshwater lake in the
God, bro. You
world,
don't even
which
understand.
contains
That's
almost
really
a
on my
quarter of
bucket
our
list to
planet's
just smoke a
non-saline
wood
surface water.
and all
At
these tropical ass
5,387
places.
feet deep,
Smoke
it's the
a
world's
fat ass
deepest
wood.
lake, and is also thought to be the
And
oldest
just
after forming
be
around
at peace,
25 million
folks.
years ago.
Just be at
As you'd
peace.
expect, there's a wealth of plant and animal life in the region, and it supports countless
Like, look at
villages
that
and
shit.
tribes.
Like, I would literally
But the
just
thing
stand
that's
right there and
particularly
smoke this
amazing
bitch
about
all
this
day.
place is
Just
what happens when it freezes over. Because it's formed in a valley, it's exposed to freezing winds that blow across
that
the
should be
surface.
so
And this
peaceful
leads to
and
the
just
creation of unbelievable ice structures that are hard to believe form naturally.
beautiful.
Methane bubbles are often trapped in the ice. Small
Yeah.
particles are blown together, frozen, melted, and refrozen to join into unusual
Ah,
shapes.
that's a raw ass picture.
And rocks can even be seen sitting on their own icy pedestals.
See,
And
bro,
for
I
that time
gotta
of year,
travel,
this
bro,
is
so
one
I
of the
can get
most
pictures like
serene
this and
and
shit.
awe-inspiring places on Earth.
Oh God.
And well worth a visit if you
It
get
look
the
like it's a
chance.
mountain in the fucking ice cube.
Number 5. Richat Structure, Mauritania.
That bitch look like it got hit by a nuke.
Also known as the Eye of Africa, the Richat Structure is a strange formation in the desert rock near the small town of Ouadane in Mauritania. The inverse dome is 25 miles in diameter and has exposed various layers of rock that appear like
Bro,
concentric
what do y'all
rings.
really
It's
think
one
the
of the
world like was like had in it before all this shit like got into buildings and shit? Like I mean before like way not even when dinosaurs, like after them type shit, after human shit. But I'm just saying, like, do y'all think we was really living on some Avatar type shit, like niggas around this bitch flying bisons and shit? You feel me? Maybe I'm going too far with that. Maybe I'm going too far with that. But I'm just saying,
easiest
it's too
natural
much weird
structures to
shit in
see
our
from
world for
space.
some shit that we be
Amazingly, it's
seeing in
very
these
hard to
movies not
see
to be
from ground
true.
level. And if you were there, you'd probably be unable to notice anything different about it from the surrounding
Man,
land.
that shit crazy. It looked
Quite
like
how
a
it
fat
was
ass
formed
meteor
has been the
hit that
subject of
bitch.
scientific debate ever since it was first discovered in the 1930s.
Like, look at
The
that.
first
That looked like a
assumption was
fat
that
ass
it's an
impact.
crater
Yeah,
from a
see.
meteorite, but the lack of evidence of any superheated rocks has ruled this out. Instead, it's been formed by millions of years of erosion of softer rock that was probably deposited during a time when the region was underwater.
Oh, damn.
Quite why this happened in such a circular fashion is still unclear. There are ridges and valleys that follow the concentric lines of the Richat structure, and evidence has been found that humans have lived here for hundreds of thousands of years. Ancient artifacts have been unearthed that date back to the Stone Age, such as tools and spears. Strangely, however, none have been found at the center of this depression, which also discounts any possibility that this was a prehistoric mine of some sort. With such delicate rock, there are calls to make the structure a protected site to ensure it can be studied for years to come and, hopefully, reveal some of the secrets as to how this strange place came to be.
How did that strange place come to be?
Number 4. Fly Geyser,
The
Nevada,
fuck?
USA.
This in Nevada?
Fly Geyser looks like it would be at home on an alien planet, but amazingly, it's only about 20 miles north of the town of Gerlach in Nevada. Although you might think this to be a natural formation, it actually is the result of human activity when a well was drilled in 1916 with a view to irrigating water.
The
Due
fuck
to the
happened to the
geothermal
whale?
activity in the region, the water was close to boiling point, so the well was abandoned. But a calcium carbonate cone began to form around the opening. A second hole was dug in 1964 by an energy company, but the water wasn't hot enough for their needs, so they abandoned it too. And the structure that formed around it is what we see today. It has a number of openings which the water shoots 5 feet high out of, and the entire structure is currently between 25 and 30 feet tall.
Damn.
Various platforms and pools have also been created across 74 acres. The water's
It don't look like
unusually
it's
high
30
silica
feet
content
tall.
and the presence of algae that thrive in the conditions are responsible for the multicolored deposits that have solidified around it. And because it's heated to a temperature of around 200 degrees Fahrenheit, it produces quartz, something that usually takes 10,000 years to happen in other geysers. Even though there are a couple of other geysers nearby
I know what I'm
that
gonna
have been
watch after
formed in a
this.
similar way, none are as large or as impressive as the Fly Geyser is. Therefore, one of a kind and something you won't see anywhere else in the world. Number 3. Nika Mine, Mexico.
Nika Mine.
What's the biggest crystal you've ever seen?
I ain't
However large you
never
thought
seen
it
no
was,
real
it's
crystal.
nothing compared to what a team of miners discovered near Nika in Chihuahua, Mexico.
Mm.
In 1910, a cavern was found.
Y'all ever seen the movie Chronicles, G? Don't that look like one of the crystals they had to touch in that bitch to get them superpowers and stuff? I know y'all know what I'm talking about. I know y'all know what I'm talking about. If you seen Chronicles, you know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about.
At a depth of 390
Chronicles
feet,
was when
which has become known
it was
as the
Michael B.
Cave of
Jordan
Swords.
and the other
To their
dudes. They had
astonishment, it was full of
superpowers. They
gypsum
had raw
crystals that were up
superpowers.
to
Like
3
they
feet,
got
3 inches
telekinesis
long.
and shit, and they can fly.
90 years later,
One of them
another
turned
mining
evil
crew
and
took
started
things a
killing
step
their
further
ass.
when they were drilling a new shaft.
Smoking
Found
they
the
bitch ass.
giant crystal cave,
Dumpling.
which itself was
He was smoking
980
their ass
feet
though. I
beneath the
can't lie.
surface.
He killed
This
my
cave had
he
once
killed
been
my
flooded
nigga
with
Michael
hot
B.
water, which allowed minerals to deposit in crystalline structures. The largest of the crystals to have been seen was 39 feet long, 13 feet wide, and thought to weigh as much as 55 tons, which makes it the largest one ever to have been found.
God damn. To
Conditions
think
in the
it's
cave
people
aren't
really out
exactly
there
inviting
in
to
that
people,
shit.
though, with
Like I
temperatures
wonder
reaching
how you
136
even
degrees
get that
Fahrenheit
job.
and 99% humidity. Humans can only be in there for up to 10 minutes without full safety equipment. Even if you were prepared for this, it's not possible to visit the cave currently. After a robber tried to steal a crystal and ended up suffocating and dying, it was shut permanently and allowed to refill with water in the hope that the crystals can be preserved and continue to grow until improved methods of exploration become
Damn.
available.
A nigga
Number 2.
died trying to
The
go steal a
Gates of
crystal.
Hell, Turkmenistan. Not only is the existence of the gates of hell in Turkmenistan hard to believe, but the way it was formed is perhaps even more difficult to believe. If you had visited this place near the village of Devasa 50 years ago, it would have looked just like the surrounding Karakum desert, with sand stretching out.
Gee. That shit really look like the gates of hell. Are you
in every
serious?
direction you look. In the 1970s, the country was part of the Soviet Union. And the authorities were on a campaign to identify all areas of natural resources that could be mined and used to support the growing population. In 1971, geologists arrived in the area and believed the ground below to contain a cavern that was full of oil. So they set up a test rig to drill down and take further measurements, but soon found there to be a large pocket of gas just beneath the surface.
Merchant.
Now, there are no official Russian or Turkmen records of what happened next.
They must
According to the
just
sources
stop
close to
drilling.
operations at the time, the ground collapsed beneath the rig and swallowed the drill, as well as several top Soviet scientists. The
Damn.
remaining researchers were now faced with a problem. They could detect large quantities of methane being released from the hole they had just created, and believed this to be a possible health hazard. Their calculations suggested
Of course,
that the best
duh,
way to deal
nigga,
with
what
it
the
was to
fuck?
burn the gas, and that it would run out within a few weeks. It was then decided to throw a grenade into the hole, and the gates of hell was born.
Who the fuck gave them the
Someone
okay on
calculated
this
it wrong,
idea?
because since that day, almost 50 years ago, the hole has continued
Nigga
to burn.
said, fuck it, let me just throw a
Crater is now
nade and just
approximately
gave the
230
gas.
feet across and 66
That
feet
bitch
deep,
probably blew that
and
bitch
filled
even
with
more.
fires, boiling mud, and ferocious orange flames.
Damn.
Plans have often been drafted to try and extinguish it for good, especially considering it sat above one of the largest natural gas deposits that are anywhere on Earth. But such is the scale of the problem that no one yet has found
Imagine
an
somebody
adequate
let a
solution.
nuke off
Now it's one of the
directly
most
in
popular
that
tourist
bitch.
sites
That
in the
bitch
country.
probably fuck
It's
our
become an area
whole
of
shit up.
biological research because of the organisms that have been found to be living in the center of the crater. It may perhaps burn out one day like the scientists in the 1970s
This shit
thought it
living
would,
there?
but based on current progress, it could be several more decades before it even seems to begin
Man,
slowing
watch.
down.
Some gonna crawl up out that motherfucker. Some gonna crawl up out that bitch and do something
Number 1.
crazy.
Caño Cristales, Colombia.
Damn.
The Caño Cristales is a small tributary river that feeds into the Guayabero River of Colombia. But due to its unique plant life, it's also commonly referred to as the most beautiful river in the world. The fast-flowing water passes through a region that's on the edge of the Amazon rainforest, the Andes, and the eastern Llanos, and
I
is
be
almost perfectly
scared of
clear.
shit like that,
The
but not
riverbed has
scared enough
numerous
to not
holes
test
and
it
dips in it
though.
because of the
I
way
be
the rocks
scared on
caught in the
some,
current
like,
erode
what
the
if them
bedrock.
rocks and
And
shit
this has produced the
poisonous as
ideal
hell?
locations
Like,
for
why
a
they that
species of
color and
plant
shit?
called Macarenia clavigera to grow.
Macarenia,
During the summer months, it
whatever
takes
the
on a
fuck he just
gloriously
said.
red hue and also provides shelter for other species to grow that adds yellows, greens, blues, and blacks into the mix. It's no wonder that this place is also affectionately known as the liquid rainbow, and is so unusual that many visitors still can't believe that it's real, even when they're standing right next to it.
Damn.
Subscribe to Top 5s for
Damn, 15 biggest living things you didn't know existed. I might have to tune into that. That might just be the next video. You hear me? But I ain't, man. That's all I got for y'all today. Like, comment, subscribe. Make sure to, comment. I be talking back to y'all. Y'all just let me know what else y'all trying to watch and shit. And, tune the fuck back in. It's your boy Chris Wild, and I'm out.